Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, sampler review series of videos I do for a little while. I go over there, try out food and drink items. Eat stuff, I drink stuff, then, folks, I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff that, time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie, been a little bit since I've reviewed something from Arby's. But we'll get to that. Folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to go over there and try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammering on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my truck. And whilst I'm doing all that, folks, oh, yeah. I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing for you today, folks? What happens to be my, boom, one of my Grimm shirts with 2 M's. What is Grimm, though, with 2 M's? Grimm is a band, local band out of Illinois that I became aware of last year in 2023 at the time I'm doing this. They opened up a show. I'd never heard of them before, but I really liked what they did, especially as the openers. I mean, that's always a tough spot, you know, because you're trying to basically, not only do you usually have a much more limited audience to work with, but you're there to basically hype everybody up. And they did a fantastic job, man. They're a 3-man crew, sort of an industrial horrorcore metal band type of deal. Really high energy, just really cool. Love the passion they put into what they do. And I've been fortunate enough, I've seen them a few times since then. They've just, been appearing at shows that I go to. I like them so much, I've actually got videos of their performance that are on my channel as well, just in case maybe you want to check them out. If nothing else, I'd be more than happy to kind of point you in the right direction as far as their music goes, because I think they're a really good band. But anyway, what am I trying for you today, folks? What are we doing here? Why is it from Arby's? Well, it's from Arby's because Arby's offers it. That is what that is. And it happens to be boom! But what's inside the boom? Boom again! This is their Bourbon BBQ chicken sandwich. Yay! It's a limited time item. They also had a Bourbon BBQ beef sandwich. I figured I'd go with the chicken today because chicken. So, okay. Looks like we got some crispy onions on here. Maybe got some bacon, it looks like. Okay. So it's kind of a rodeo burger, but with, chicken for one thing. I will say this, though. That is, there's a lot of stuff there. That's a pretty weak-looking chicken patty. And Arby's is very hit or miss when it comes to their chicken, in my opinion. I've had some really pretty solid chicken sandwiches from them. I've had some not so solid chicken sandwiches from them. This one looks a little underwhelming, but, And then, of course, we got the Bourbon BBQ sauce, which, that's really tasty. That's really tasty. Okay, let's give it a go. This review is going to end up on my Chicken Sandwich Wars playlist. That's a playlist for typically chicken sandwiches. Let's give it a go. Bip, bip, bip. That's a really weak chicken sandwich. That is sad. That just looks overly processed. And, look, I get it. We're not at the height or even really in the chicken sandwich wars anymore. So the pressure is off to really produce, quality premium chicken sandwiches. But a lot of places have still kept it up and have, managed to keep those standards going. Arby's, for their part, were part of that. They did put out some good chicken sandwiches. But it seems like they've slipped back into, just the more standard fast food stuff, which is a shame. Yeah. As for the rest of it, the Bourbon BBQ sauce is nice. I think it would definitely work better with the beef, though, since the beef has that, that like meatiness to it. It's surprisingly sweet for being like a bourbon-based barbecue sauce. And I get it, it's a fast food barbecue sauce, so they tend to err on the side of sweet. For me, it's probably a little sweeter than I would like. I think I prefer smokier, kind of richer barbecue sauces. This one, again, definitely, it's not like overly, like obnoxiously sweet, but it's definitely more on the side of that sweetness than I personally prefer. Um, there is some richness to it though, and you do get sort of a kind of a bourbon flavor. Like it's definitely there. You know, I say that as somebody who doesn't really drink much, but you definitely can tell it's not just a standard barbecue sauce. It has that something extra to it. It's not bad for what it is. I'll say this: the chicken is very crispy. It has a very nice crispiness to it. But then when the chicken is that thin, a lot easier to get that crispy texture, isn't it? Yeah, because again, fundamentally, it's kind of a rodeo burger. It has pretty much all the same makeup. Really, the only thing that's different, obviously, got chicken instead of beef, and then you've got that bourbon barbecue sauce. That's really what the sandwich is hanging on. Um, it's okay. I'm not disliking it, but I'm also not liking it for the reasons that I would like to like it. I like it for what it is because, for all intents and purposes, the makeup of it is decent. Um, the bacon is okay. I'll give them credit for that. The bacon is actually pretty nice for what it is. It's actually got a little oomph to it. Um, but with a chicken patty that week, I'm not getting like a nice burst of juicy chicken. The bourbon sauce is nice, but it's a little bit too sweet. It kind of overpowers some of the other things. Yeah. Well, okay. Two questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? No, and probably not. I think for me personally, if I was going to try this again, I would do the beef version. And maybe I'll do a review of that. We'll see. Because it's just, I am genuinely very disappointed in that chicken. That for me is just, again, Arby's, yeah, they get flack for this, that, and the other thing. Fair dues. But, like, I'm typically an Arby's defender. But a lot of that has to be based on the fact that they're offering something up that is at least a little bit better than the standard fast food fare. And typically I think they hit the mark on that. Even if I don't always love whatever it is they're putting out, usually, I can at least say, okay, yeah, it's at least better than your more atypical fast food. Yeah, but this one, I mean, I'd still say it's better in some ways, but like, yeah, man, that chicken just completely brings it down. Like, even if it does have a nice crunchiness to it, the fact that it's so flat, the fact that you really don't get a nice burst of real chicken flavor with it, it's just, yeah, that's just too big a hit for me to take. So maybe the beef version would be a little bit better. I do think it would, work better with the bourbon barbecue sauce. Yeah, no, I wouldn't get that one again. I don't hate it or anything, but like, it's just most of the enjoyment I'm getting out of it is probably from the sauce itself, and then just kind of the other things. But again, the chicken part of it is so lost. Yeah. And for that reason, I really wouldn't recommend it. I don't think it's a terrible sandwich or anything, but I think especially if you're doing it as a limited time item, you got to be willing to, put your best foot forward. Because limited time items have really become the norm in the fast food industry these days, and having monthly stuff, and Arby's is, they've been doing that too. And if you're going to do that, you want those featured items to be something that's going to potentially draw people back in the next month, when you have another featured item. That's, and I don't think this does that. For me personally, if I hadn't had Arby's before, this was my first experience with their stuff. I think somebody be like, hey, let's go to Arby's. I'd be like, nah, man, I had a chicken sandwich from them. It's kind of okay, but I don't need to be about that. Whereas, I know in reality that there are, menu items on their menu that I actually do like. This just personally isn't very impressive. So 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of month, stupendous rest of your year. Folks, go over there yourselves a truly proper barbecue sauce-tastic rest of your life. Whatever that may be for you, by the way. Like, I'm not trying to cast shade. Like, if you like sweeter sauces, you know, that's cool too. Final 2 things. Number 1, bit my tongue. Try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do it all the time, I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you gotta do, folks. You're gonna try not to be an asshole. Folks, not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. There's a B. Not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me, I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important we go over there whenever possible. Take a step back. Try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives. Hopefully, do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, what's your favorite type of barbecue sauce? Are you a sweeter sauce person? Again, do you more kind of my style, smoky and rich? You know, do you have a favorite brand? There's lots of stuff out there, man. I remember when I was a kid, pretty much the only brand that I think either side of my family got was I don't know the name of it, but it has like a bull as like its icon. That was like just the go-to barbecue sauce when I was a kid. These days, of course, it's become so much bigger of an industry with so many more options. It's really nice, you know. It's like there's a lot of really good stuff out there. I don't know. For me personally, probably my favorite that I've had, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. It's been a little while since I bought it. But I did a review of it. They actually did a tie-in with a band that I like called Texas Hippie Coalition. And I was like, oh, cool, you know, that's why I got the sauce. But then I ended up loving it. You know, it was just fantastic. So I should get some more of that at some point. Anyway.